Hi, art historians. I'm reporting back to you from the lovely New Jersey, and I wanted to make a quick week 6 summary video. So, apologies first off. You know that I would have loved to get this out on Monday, like I have been. Unfortunately, I did not get home until about 2 p.m. yesterday, and I had tons of work to do and lots of laundry. So, I am reporting to you on a Tuesday instead, so my apologies. I also want to thank you all so much for your patience while I was traveling. I know I was a little bit behind on things than I normally am, but I should be all caught up by now. I am working through just making sure everything is graded for week 5 as well, but all of those rating assignments, the due date being pushed back, I think I'm in okay shape right now. So if you're missing any grades or things look a little wonky, just reach out and let me know. You know, I'm always ready to communicate and willing to change and adjust as needed. So let's just talk about week 5 really quickly. First and foremost, week 6, that's what we're doing. So first and foremost, we had a really great discussion this week. Not too many issues with those quizzes, 10 and 11, and then I just have a few reminders for you all. So first of all, let's talk about the discussion. We looked into some Chinese and Hindu art this week, which I love those units. Working in the non-Western world and studying those artworks is definitely some of my favorites. So I wanted to first bring up the conversation that was had about the Lady Di, beautiful funerary banner for her. So one thing that's really interesting that Rachel actually mentioned was kind of questioning what Lady Di was like in her lifetime. And I will post a picture for you with this announcement. We do have her body, maybe not quite to the level that she would have been when she was alive, but you can kind of get a sense for at least what she looked like. But I also love thinking about the personality of these people when they would have been, alive and active in their time frame. And that is why I actually always love watching documentary videos that do a little bit of that sometimes cheesy, fictitious reenactments of those moments. There's a really wonderful one about the Medici family that used to be on Netflix. Alexander the Great has got a special with some reenactments, and I've also heard the Cleopatra one is really awesome as well. So like you, Rachel, I also think about the personality of these figures and what they would have kind of brought to their time frame when they were alive. So that is such a cool thing to think about. You also mentioned that kind of that concept of commissioning artwork before one has actually passed. And this is something that I like to think about quite often throughout all of art history. I mean, some of these giant sites like the pyramids that I just had the absolute joy of seeing in Egypt, those most likely were started before the pharaohs had actually moved on from this earthly world. And the process of planning one's death, especially at such a young age during these people's time frames, is a very kind of interesting concept to think about. I think about actually my own grandfather who planned out an entire Roman Catholic mass and church service and, Italian dinner afterwards for all of his loved ones. And while it feels morbid, it really is almost the person thinking about the living before they've moved on from this world. And I think that's kind of beautiful because it's acknowledging those who are left behind in the wake of that person's loss. And it's a way for us to maybe process grief a little bit better as the living, or to at least have a really healthy space to express those feelings of mourning or grief. And then Desi also commented about the colors that were used not the Lady Di piece. Now we're moving on right along to the Terracotta Warriors. My apologies. Those Terracotta Warriors, the colors that they used, I think that your mentioning of that fact was awesome. And it's also crazy to think about the team of people that most likely put those sculptures together. One person specializing in noses, one person specializing in armor, in hair, etc., etc. And how it was almost this assembly line of work that would have taken place to create so many of these warriors. Another wonderful and awesome piece of that Chinese artwork. So then Mark wanted to expand a little bit more about these terracotta warriors, and he noted that the beauty and authenticity of seeing the marks of the artist was really, really special. And I think this is also so nice. The fact that we have evidence of the human hand makes that piece of artwork and all of those warriors, especially at such a large and unimaginable scale, feel more grounded for us. It feels a little bit more accessible, knowing that a human actually created it. And there's a lot of examples of this throughout all of art history. Michelangelo didn't necessarily get to finish every single piece that he started. So if you have ever had the chance to go to Florence and see the Gallery Accademia, you see some of his works before they've been smoothed out with that pumice stone. And so we do get to see the marks of the artist. It's not just this abstract history that we're studying. These are real people that lived and contributed to the culture and the history that we have today. So this is really great conversations, folks. Moving right along, I want to give credit to Jace, who brought up the Longman Caves, who also mentioned the marks of the artist. So expanding on this, even in larger scale sites, I think it's really, really important to think about that. And I love that staring at these pieces for that full 15 minutes is bringing out these kinds of thoughts. That's really what the assignment is all about. So great job, folks. And also, Samantha, I want to give you a quick little shout out. Thank you so much for providing such a healthy, well thought through and well-labeled diagram for our Vishnu Bore narrative. I thought it was really awesome that you included that in your post, so great job there. All right, moving right along, let's talk about the quiz number 10. So the stele with the Shakyamuni and the Prabhutarana was one of the questions in regards to what culture it belonged to, and that is absolutely Buddhist. So if you maybe were a little unsure, that Shakyamuni should jump right out at you, because we've been talking about Shakyamuni, or the earthly Buddhas, versus our universal Buddhas. So that should have immediately caught your eye to the Buddhism being the answer there. And then, of course, I wanted to mention that the Golden Jade Crown with the answers A and B, I know that was really tricky. I believe someone made mention of that in their quiz submission. Little feature from Dolly right there. They're very happy to have me back, so apologies. But I want to let you know that yes, those responses in the multiple choice were out of order. It should have been A, tree, A, B, antlers, then the other answer, and then the last one being A and B. So if you got that question wrong, I am going to go back in and give you the points back for that. So don't worry if you see your grade improve. That's because I added the points because that question wasn't exactly fair. My apologies there. I also want to give a couple of reviews, but let's talk about quiz 11 first. So we talk about the Brahman worshiper, and that is the Upanishadic era. So make sure that you are really making sure you're understanding what cultures these pieces are categorized under. Same thing with the Siddhartha at the Bodhi tree from Gandhara. The locations are really important as well. So knowing those two facts about artwork really helps us understand the context to them. So really making sure we're memorizing and focusing on those facts first and foremost. Definitely keep that up going forward. All right, so some reminders. First of all, I have posted now a week 7 grade calculation sheet. And I want to apologize getting it to you a little bit later. This is going to be due on Sunday. What I want with this, folks, is to just make sure that you know exactly where you're at for the end of the semester. One of my big fears as an educator is that students aren't fully kind of on track with where they want to be for the course, and I don't want it to be too late that we can fix these things or get the chance to pull a grade up if you are really hoping to do so. So please calculate out that worksheet, keeping in mind, of course, that you can add at the bottom the prediction for what you hope you can receive during week 8, and then you should have an understanding as to what grade you're going to receive in this course. Again, this is for both you all and myself, both security on my end, and to make sure that you are, really making sure you're aware of all the assignments you've completed so far and still have to go. So I appreciate, hey, no fighting, please. Sorry. I appreciate you all finishing that for me, very, very much so, and don't forget about that. Then let's talk quickly about the writing assignment. Though I was able to fix those links for you all, I am still extending that due date to the end of week 8, so you have time. But my personal recommendation is that you work on that now if you can, and that's really because you have a writing assignment number 4 as an option for week 8. So if you were to save this particular writing assignment for then and not start ahead of time, you might find yourself a little overwhelmed with the workload. So it's my recommendation that you begin this writing assignment now if you would like to complete it, and then you have the option doing that 4th one if you want to as well. Speaking of writing, we are now in week 7, folks, so that means that you have a formal analysis paper. That is not optional for this class. You need to complete the formal analysis paper. For those that have already reached out, we have talked about the fact that not everybody is local to that museum near Lindenwood, and I am completely understanding of that. Nor am I. But the main point of this assignment is to see artwork in person. So no matter what other alternative we've discussed, seeing art in person is core to this assignment and cannot be skipped over. So just keep that in mind. If you have any further questions, do not hesitate to reach out. I will clarify whatever is needed, but this assignment is due at the end of Sunday night, so don't forget about that. And other than that, I think it about wraps up week 6. Oh, so we are currently week 7. You've got one more week to go, folks. I'm really, really impressed and proud of all of your hard work. As my first semester as a professor, this has gone really, really well, and I hope so those course evaluations are open, so please provide feedback. I am a forever student. I will never sit here and claim to know everything and be a perfect teacher. I absolutely love learning and growing from you all with your feedback, so if there's anything that you feel could help improve the course, help me improve as a teacher and an educator, please let me know. I look forward to reading your responses, very much so. And in the meantime, apologies again for any of the mishaps that have happened with technical difficulties in regards to links or assignments or things. There's been definitely a little bit of a transition period between what formerly used to be the format for our survey courses into what is now this kind of build your own adventure. A survey will also go out about that new class format, and we definitely need feedback about that. I already have a meeting scheduled in December to convey all of your feedback to those higher up than me that can potentially adjust or make changes that will really fit the Lindenwood learning community best. So thank you in advance for filling all of that out and for all of your hard work. If you have any issues whatsoever, reach out to kcarpino@lindenwood.edu, and I will hopefully see you back on Monday next week for a little wrap up of week 7. So thanks everybody, and I'll see you later. Bye!